Hey,
Marla.
First, we're going to Charlotte, and we have two more projects. You don't. No, so you want to- Yeah, you go for it. They do have a different. That's the question.
it's weird. Okay. I didn't know you came in.
Sure.
How about this calendar?
I know you did. I don't know what to do about this.
Welcome everyone to the New Baltimore Town Board meeting. Today's date is August 10th. Can you please stand for the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Did everybody get to read the July 13th minutes? Yes. You guys reviewed the July 13th minutes? Make a motion that we accept the meeting minutes from the July 13th.
I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. All right, now we're gonna have a presentation from the Love to Travel Plaza project.
Hi, my name is Teresa Baker. I'm with the law firm of Whiteman, Osterman, and Hannah. I'm Michelle. We represent Love's Travel Plaza Stops and Country Stores. And I have with me tonight the real estate project manager for Love's, Steve Walters, right here, all the way from Oklahoma. And behind him, Frank Palumbo, who's the professional engineer from CT Mail. And CT Mail is assisting them in putting together the drawings for the proposed travel plaza. We're here tonight just to introduce the town board to the project. Of course, we spend most of our time in front of the planning board, and we've had one meeting with the planning board on April 6th. And since then, we've been working on putting together the application for the planning board for site plan and subdivision. And we've also done a traffic study, which is currently under review by DOT. The people who did the traffic study for us are BF Engineers and BFJ Planning. They did the traffic analysis for us. And we just wanted to brief you on the project. It's located right at the entrance to the thruway, exit 21B. It is on property owned by Camping World. It's Camping World's property there is 24.7 acres, and Lowe's is going to use 7.23 acres for its travel plaza. It's 12634 Route 9W. And the uses, it's a zoned commercial, and the uses allowed in that site with site plan approval are automobile service station and restaurant. And if anybody's visited a Lowe's, you'll know that they have with them a restaurant, usually a Subway, and then they have a convenience store as well as amenities for the truckers and other people who use the travel plaza. As I indicated, we're looking for site plan review and subdivision approval from the planning board. When they first came to us on this project, there was some concern about the presence of wetlands. We've avoided all of those, so there's no impact on wetlands from the project. And we don't require a permit from either DEC or the Army Corps for the project itself. The other things that we will have is a stormwater pollution prevention plan, but This overall site view shows the project site, so you can see it as you come off the exit. There's nothing between Love's and this particular site. And if you drive past Camping World, you'll see that they're pretty much already using this portion of the site for the storage of RVs, camper trailers, that kind of thing. So I want to turn it over to Steve so he can tell you more about Love's, and we would be happy to answer any questions that you have here when we're all done. We're gonna talk about that.
Thanks, Teresa. Thank you for having me tonight. Again, my name is Steve Walters. I'm the real estate project manager for Love's for this area. Just wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about what we have going on here. As Teresa mentioned, if you drive by Camping World today, you'll see on the northern end of Camping World, they have some trailers stored out here. That's the general area where the project's going to be. We'll have a building. This shows a subway, but it more likely won't be a subway. It's just a standard building that we have that we've given the engineers. But the building will be roughly this size. Right now, depending on how the traffic study comes back, we'll design it where with signage where the cars will come down here, turn in, and they'll do their their business in here and come back out at the southern entrance. The trucks will come in at the north entrance. They'll come in and fuel, and then they'll go back out the southern entrance and go back out to the freeway. This is a parking out here for the trucks. There will be overnight parking inside the building facility. We'll have laundries, we'll have showers, and then general convenience store stuff as well.
Excuse me, Steve, can you do me a favor? Can you move that so that everybody can see it? Like in the back. Yeah, I just want everybody to be able to see it.
There we go. Oh, that's okay.
You've got it on there, okay.
You're right. Don't hurt yourself. You're right.
Yep.
Okay.
You want.
Yeah,
they need to see
yes.
more.
So.
Please, thank you, sorry about that.
Oh, no worries. I'll just briefly go over that again for the audience. So, I'm sorry, I'm standing in front of you.
That's okay to take recorders right there, that's where you.
Okay. So this is obviously the building. We will have some sort of restaurant in there. The automobiles right now, the way it's designed, and this is all dependent on the results from the DOT comments, but they'll be going southbound and they'll come in the south entrance where there's currently an entrance today. And the cars will come in here and they'll come in here, fuel, park, go eat, get food, whatever, and come back out the south entrance and go back to the freeway or go back south. The trucks, it's designed where they'll come in the north entrance and they'll come in here and they'll fuel. After they fuel, they'll pull up here, go inside and do their business and leave and come back out the south entrance. Again, currently this is the Camping World driveway that you see today. Camping World is going to move a driveway down here and we're going to gate it and fence it for them. That way the two traffic weren't mingling. And it gave them a little more security on their lot as well from having a way to gate their lot and still have access to it. This is the area where the truck parking will be. It surrounds like the northern side, the northeastern and the eastern edges. As Teresa mentioned, there are lots of wetlands over here, but we avoided those. So we don't have to worry about that. Inside this building is where the laundry, showers, and the other services will be. You have any other questions I'm sorry, go ahead.
Just one question for that. You're talking about overnight truck parking. Do the drivers sleep in the trucks or?
They do, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
'Cause I think years ago, I heard that there might have been some idea of a motel being there as well. for different
Yes, ma'am, they do. The Love's itself, it'll be about a $22 million investment to the community. We're looking at a solution for sewer that Frank will talk about. We'll have 40 to 60 full-time employee positions. All those positions start out above minimum wage. They'll do a market survey of what the wages are, and so because we want to attract good employees. All of our positions have full benefits, 401k, insurance, the works, and then our employees have tuition assistance. They have many opportunities if they choose to do so to have extra training within Love's to come up through the ranks. All the employees will be hired locally with the exception of one. And that one person, he or she's a general manager in training somewhere in the United States at one of our other stores. And they'll come here and be the general manager. There'll be an assistant manager for the store, and then there'll be a manager and assistant manager for the restaurant. And those folks will be hired locally. Any other questions?
Are all of your employees full-time employees?
We'd like for them to be, but it's almost impossible to make that happen. Our goal is to have like 75% full-time and make the rest of those positions up with part-time. But ideally, we'd like 100% full-time employees, but that never happens. So
This is a 24/7.
24/7, yes, ma'am.
When, another question I had is with respect to the traffic study, there are people trying to turn left onto 9W.
Turn left here.
Yeah,
Yes.
or, from down that way. It'll be interesting to see what the traffic study says about the congestion.
Yeah, actually, I can speak to that, not in full length, but the study did analyze all of those movements. And there was no serious level of service concerns. It does factor in all that's out there. They do all the existing counts first, do the expected number of trips that would be coming in. And with the two entrances, it sort of, the exchange between the two helps with where most of the trucks are turning in. And the ones that are the majority, I can't tell you exactly what percentage they identified in terms of the trip distribution, but the majority is going back to the highway. So the majority of trucks turning out are making that right-hand turn, which should be in the safest mode of anything. But they did analyze the left-hand turn movements as well, and that is all in the traffic study that we presented to the DOT, and we've submitted it to the DOT to get their technical comments on it first. So by the time you see it again, or the planning board sees it, it should have been vetted by the DOT engineers.
No need for lights or anything of that kind?
No, not that level of volume at that point.
Now, at the, internally, we've had some conversations, and obviously it's up to DOT to tell us what we can and can't do, but we think there might be an additional turn lane needed, something of that nature to help the traffic flow. And all that stuff is done on our dime. We don't ask for, any of the local entities to help pay for that. As far as lighting, the only lighting that I know this is what you meant, but our parking lots are extremely well lit. We do that for safety reasons. The other reason we try to have two driveways, the other reason we try to have two driveways is we want to keep the automobile traffic separate from the truck traffic, safety reasons. I now have young grandkids, and, God forbid one of them ever got away from me and a truck couldn't see them. And the other reason is sometimes people have nefarious ideas, and if there's ever a car back here, it's assigned to us that they shouldn't be back there. There's no reason for automobiles to be in this area at all. We're like I said, we're 24/7. So our employees are walking the lots, picking up the trash, emptying trash cans, all sorts of duties they're responsible for, and they're trained to keep an eye on that kind of stuff. So.
Do you have any projections on the number of trucks versus automobiles from
It's going to be
others that you have?
I don't want to give you a percentage because someone may go count them and say, oh, Steve lied. But I will tell you this, if you look at this store, we have very few gas bays.
Mhm.
And the reason is because the local business is gonna go to the local folks in Coxsackie and New Baltimore, that they have their local people. And as long as those local businesses continue to provide a good service and continue to keep their customers well, that's not gonna change. Where this is gonna benefit is pulling people off the tollway. And so this was a very odd site for us, where we don't have very many gas bays, but we have, I think, 2, 3, 4, 6 diesel bays. So I would say, I mean, just round numbers, maybe 70-30, and leaning towards the trucks. Just because the simple fact that Apple Green,
For 24 hours?
24 hours, yes, ma'am. Just from the simple fact that Apple Greens, they do a good job on the tollway. So honestly, if I'm on the tollway, I'm probably not getting off to go to Love's, because Apple Greens has such great offers for their food and stuff. So unless there's something really special that I want to go to Love's for, I would go to Apple Greens if I was in Automobile. Now truck, I'm just being honest. Now truck drivers is just the opposite. Some information we shared with the county is the big three, which would be Love's, Pilot Flying J, and TA. Between the big three, about 85% of the trucks fuel with one of those three people. And these trucks going down the tollway are not stopping in New Baltimore to do their business, because they don't have any contracts with anybody here. And so the trucks will get off. They won't stop at Apple Greens because there's no contract there for them. And a lot of the large fleets have contracts with those big three companies, and they get fuel discounts and food discounts and that kind of stuff. So that's where it will benefit.
Would seem like a strategic location, there, being close to the Massachusetts Turnpike.
It's very strategic for us, because if you were to look at a map from the Canadian border to New York City, we do not have a store on I-87. And so we're excited about this one.
You have one other in the state or two? Enough?
We have Canaan,
Right.
Binghamton, there's another one somewhere. Chautauqua.
Oh, it's out?
Oh, way upstate.
Yeah. Yeah, we have 680 stores across the United States. We're in 41 different states now, 41 or 42. I don't remember which one it is, 41 or 42. The only states we aren't in are obviously Alaska, Hawaii, and then, Maine, Vermont, and Hampshire, and then Delaware and Rhode Island.
They're headquartered in Oklahoma. I said Tennessee before, so my mistake.
We looked it up. It's
Steve, question. Have pity on an old lady, but,
You're a fellow veteran, so we will. Remember, we had this conversation last time.
okay, all right, here's the deal. I always use 9W, I got it,
Okay.
9W, all right?
Uh-huh.
Whenever I look at the thruway, there's this plot of land adjacent to the thruway on the south that has remained almost never used. It's always looked like it would be a separate ownership sale. Now, you're telling me that that's included in your light green.
No,
No, it's,
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Okay.
so they avoided that lot, Ellie?
Yeah,
Okay,
this
Because
lot
that's
here.
where the wetlands are.
okay,
Yeah.
thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am.
I knew something wasn't right.
Yeah, no, you're fine, you're fine. And as I mentioned, if you were to look out there, you can see Camping World's trailers,
Okay,
and that's our Camping World's existing driveway.
yeah,
this
I
is
know
where their
all
employees
about that
park.
area.
So this driveway here
Mhm.
is where this driveway here is.
How many times
Okay,
people go to
gotcha.
Lowe's?
Yes, ma'am.
Gotcha.
I've worked on those before.
All right.
It's hard.
Any other
When do
questions?
you expect to hear back from New York State on some of these inquiries?
It's up to them. I mean, we've submitted everything.
We
Six.
submitted it in July, and they're pretty good at getting back fairly quickly, so we would expect to hear from them
Oh, okay.
at the latest in September.
I got one
question.
Steve, excuse me.
I have a question.
I got two questions. One, is our lighting study done on behalf of the neighbors across the street?
Every store we do a photometric study.
Okay.
And I'm not saying it gets 100% the first time out of the box, but if it's not, then we come and fix it with some shades, not shades, some, they call blinders. It's a metal blinder, but all of our lights are LED.
And was it the DOT study done during peak hours? Because that exits like a freight train when
It was done
when the
during,
prison changes.
it was done during many different hours. And the DOT has guidelines, there's a scoping meeting that has to take place.
If there's not a turn lane, it's gonna get backed up. That's my.
But again, we would like to do, if it was in a perfect world, I'd have a stoplight in front of every one of my stores I develop, but DOT dictates that.
No, I understand that.
Yeah, and so- But yeah, before a traffic study's done, there's a scoping meeting with DOT, and they tell us what they want to see. They tell us when they want the counts done. They know the local area better than some of our engineers, now not in this case, but they know the local area better than some of our engineers sometimes.
We have times in projects where the developers are, like Steve was just saying, they would love to have a traffic stop at their entrance. But if it doesn't meet the warrant analysis under the DOT guidelines, they're not gonna get it. Same thing goes with the turn lanes. The turn lanes are something simpler usually to do, but it does include some widening at times. So again, they'll check our planning, traffic planners' work and see if it first is done in the criteria that or the methodologies that they use. And then they'll see the things, if it's borderline, just like Steve said, well, if it's borderline and we could get a turn lane in here, let's talk about that. They're not gonna shy away from it. Some people are, very adverse to getting those, put in. So, but all that information will come forward. It's not that we were choosing DOT over the town in terms of the review. We just knew that they would look at it specifically also because of how close it was to the throughway entrance. So we will continue to work on that.
Yes,
Is this a pilot or a host agreement with the town?
is it a pilot or a host agreement?
Payment in lieu of taxes.
Right.
Let me address that one,
Yep.
Steve. So, when Frank starts discussing the sewer and water, you'll see that the sewer line that they're proposing to put in to serve that corridor, and that is Love's would put it in. So they would front the cost of putting the sewer in and also, and then what we have been talking to the Greene County IDA about is two things. One is allocated capacity that the Greene County IDA has, which they've agreed to allow us to use under some circumstances. And two, we've been talking to them about a payment in lieu of taxes agreement just to cover the cost of the installation of the public sewer. So what Love's builds in the right of way will be dedicated to the municipalities that the right of way goes through. And then at some point in the future, if there's capacity, those other facilities will be able to use that as well. And that's for sewer and for water. For water, there's already water on this side of the thruway. We're just studying whether we need to bring a different line through and under the thruway, or if we can use the existing line that's already there under the thruway.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
So you're saying the pilot's just for the sewer and the water infrastructure? Putting it in?
The payment in lieu of taxes is a vehicle that can be used to help Love's cover a portion, actually maybe a third of the cost of putting in the sewer line, and the water line, but Frank will talk about that, and as a lawyer,
I think the question is though, is the pilot on the $22 million investment,
No,
or is it just on the water line and sewer line?
no, it's just one portion of the water and sewer line. The pilot that we're gonna receive will come close to paying half of that sewer line. So it's just a portion, and Lowe's will front the other half, or the other remaining piece,
Do you have any estimates on the cost of the lines at this point
between 3 and 4 million.
for each or
No, total.
total?
You know, I'm gonna say this because I'm biting my tongue. We are not happy with pilots when it comes to what the town ends up with. And I hope you can understand, the county may be the dictator. They get the biggest amount. Then the school districts, they get almost as much. We end up with nothing hardly. And it hurts because we need it as badly as the school districts and other people do. I just can't see where we get 8% and everybody else gets all the rest to spare. So I've had my say and I hope to hell everybody knows what I mean.
So, if we can transition, just leave it right there, Steve. I'll go over and get that in a second. What I did pass out to the board, sorry, I don't have it big on the board there. Are the images, and the first, image is of the, front of the building. That'll be the side of the building that faces, the, Route 9W. And then it walks around, this would be on the north side, which you can see that there's not a lot of glass and other stuff on that north side. Then around the back, this is the area that I'll get to, and well, Steve had already pointed out where the trucks come around. This is where most of the truckers will be entering into the building as they are filling up in the back. That first one on the top page is where customers who are just coming in for vehicle gas and stopping are. And then the last one is facing south. So the buildings are very clean line buildings and oriented mostly for the people that are on the ground using the facilities, with the entrance in the front and the back. Over the course of this first 8 months of the year, I twice had to drive across the country, and if anyone didn't know how much trucking was part of go on the interstate across the country, and you start to see it. And the one thing that is that I did find with Love's, I think the first one I hit was in Iowa, coming back. But you start to know that it's a place that you can stop as a vehicle person and know that you're gonna find quality, clean spaces, bathrooms, services, and it's actually a pleasing stop. Not all the states have some of the system of the New York State throughway service areas. It's really counting on the private industry side, and they do it well because they know who they're servicing most in the trucks that are coming in. But it's also not a bad place for somebody who knows, I know I'm gonna at least, have what I'm looking for in there. Stop, fill up with gas, get in, use a bathroom, maybe pick up a couple snacks for the next section of the drive. So the building design is oriented towards those individuals. The subway that's out in the front where you would have a separate access to there if that was your choice. The Love's where you can go into the main center area. So it works, and so the architecture is really got a clean, straightforward. This is what you do when you go in here. In each case, the other thing about the buildings is you have the canopies out front for the covering the gas, and canopies in the back covering the truck fuel storage. So I don't know if there's any particular questions. You've just seen it right now. These are things that we'll also be going over with the planning board during the site plan review. Just wanted to give you a feel of the indication of those.
One thing I wanted to say, because I know tomorrow I'll read it on social media. There's probably not going to be a Subway and a Godfather's here at the school.
All right. This one, that's right. Sorry, you told me that.
Yeah, this was generic that I sent to Frank, so just want to make that clear. So
thank you very much.
It might not be in them, but right now, that has not been decided or discussed. quite
And,
frankly.
and everything I said, it's still at the service orientation
Yes,
towards the
whatever
vehicle
restaurant it
drive.
is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it can be accessed from the inside as well. But with respect to, Steve covered so much of the site planning. I'll just go over a few of the more technical items. That this darker green area here, that's where all the stormwater is being taken. We have designed that under the New York State DEC standards for stormwater and doing a SWIP for that, the Stormwater Pollution Prevention Plan. And so everything is collected and brought back here to these areas. We are outside of any wetlands, as Teresa had already made note of, but there is natural drainage going in that direction. So that's why those are in the back side of the site. Really, Steve covered so much of it there. From the utility standpoint, the sewer right now is planned to come out of the building here and turn down Route 9W. The water comes out right here and also will parallel. They will be on the same side of the road with the proper separation. I'll say that they will most likely be on the same side of the road with the proper separation. To move to other utilities, electric, everything, those would come in on this side of the building. That's the current plan at this time. So one of the big things also that we've had to watch with our utility connections is the tanks for where the fuel comes in to the site, and lines that go up to the front canopy area of the pump, and those that come to the back here. I will stop.
Thanks for the material.
All set? Okay, thank you. So as this drawing, besides giving the overall view, the project site here, Camping World here, there will be a new driveway to Camping World. Again, we'll talk with the planning board about that and all the details of that. DOT is aware of that as well as part of the study. So what we have been working on up to date is working with both water and sewer, Village of Coxsackie. We've talked with them in great detail and with their review engineers, Delaware Engineering. And first things that we were establishing was the capacity. And the systems do have the capacity for providing that. The water is part of a town sewer district service through the Village of Coxsackie. So I'll talk water first. There were two alternatives we've been talking with them about to keep, just to make you aware that we didn't just say, we were open to ideas that anybody had at that point. And what we were looking at, and we knew that the people who operate the system would know the most about it. So the first one would actually be across the street. That's why I corrected myself. And we would come down here, up this small road here, where it would connect to an existing water infrastructure that presently goes underneath it already goes underneath the thruway there and connects over in this area here. This was seen as by the work we did with the village and the review engineers, that they would probably prefer the second alternative, which is one that would come all along and down to a point where we would go with a new boring underneath the thruway here and connect it at this point. So a little bit before the industrial park over here. There's a small lane that goes down right on that other side of the thruway. And that was done mostly for the water dynamic aspect of this, but also seeing that there were properties over here that might more likely want to be tying in, for future use. There are properties over here. So we have been working with them to get to the best decision on that. Our lead engineer, Jake, couldn't be here tonight on it, but that was how he explained it, that the second alternative that we had was the one that seems to be the leading contender in terms of how the final design will go through.
With the second alternative, would you be looping in Sheller Park or no?
Can you help me with what?
That's Sheller Park.
Right up here,
Yeah.
that was one of the things that was discussed and it is still being discussed, so it's not determined yet. So that's the water system. The sewer system would be this yellow line, if you can see that here, that comes down right to the industrial park. That is, so we've been established with the, through the Greene County IDA, the reallotment of credits for the sewer for up to 10,000 gallons per day. And that was a decision made. They passed a resolution for that so that we know that we have that service capacity. And the operators down at the village are fully involved with all of that decision making. So, go ahead.
At the industrial park, that part of the service that we work with Town of Cooksaki is Town of New Baltimore as well.
Yeah, so this was I do not believe, the credits that were reallotted, I think were for an older subdivision that had never gotten built. I'm not positive on that. There was the dialogue at the.
Let me step in on that.
Yeah, go ahead.
So the Greene County Industrial Park, when it was created, was allocated certain capacities. Some of those capacities were used by things like the Ferguson warehouse and the other things there. Other portions of the capacity have not been used since the inception. So they have agreed to allow us to use that capacity.
Right.
And then in the future, there will no doubt be other capacity available based on projects that the Village of Cooksaki is doing. But those are over time. So all we're doing is rearranging, putting ourselves in the queue for that. We still will need to be part of the district in the Town of New Baltimore.
Yes.
Right.
Just like we are with the we would be for the water.
And the credits are with DEC, right?
The credits are recognized by DEC, and they are credits that has reserved, allocated, and existing capacity in the Village of Cooksaki wastewater treatment plant.
Right, I understand that.
Yeah, and they are working on more capacity in the village wastewater treatment facility, and the village has done an awful lot, to address I&I and other issues. But they also have their own needs for capacity for projects. So
There's no impact on our Sheller Park area or District 2 in terms of the water. The capacity and the lines will be no impact on the line that we had to put in under the thruway for
that's
them.
correct.
Correct.
That's correct.
Teresa, you got a question in the back of the
Oh,
room.
I'm sorry.
I have a question about the water. Who was in the discussions about whether or not the water lines will more or less be advantageous to Sheller Park?
Well,
Is the town of New Baltimore involved in any of these discussions to make those determinations that could assist our citizens that live in Sheller Park?
I can't tell you exactly names, faces, anything else.
That would be the water that's already on the correct side of the
Right.
thruway. That's what she's referring to.
Correct.
But I just
Correct.
asked about as well.
Right. So as I said, this has been evolving. People, so as I mentioned, so the village operators were involved. Their review engineer, Delaware Engineering, who monitors so they monitor the entire system, everything that's going down to them or coming from them in terms of the water. So in each case, the pros and cons of each aspect are being brought up. final detail on all of that will be brought back when we're going through the final site plan. And the design aspects, what I was just about to talk about was that, what we're looking at now is how this can be done from the standpoint of getting it up to Route 9W. We will have to pump from the store up to Route 9W. Then it'll probably be a series of some manholes that will take gravity, as far as we can take the gravity, and then go to another pump. We will absolutely have to pump the sewer underneath the throughway. So there will be a pump at that end and probably something at the beginning, but we're gonna see how much we can do with gravity at that point. That is just an easier system when we're talking about other properties that could potentially tie into it. It's easier to tie into the gravity pipes than the pump. Not impossible to tie into the pumping system, but that would be one of the goals that we're trying to do to make it most functional to all the properties that will be along the line.
Wasn't Delaware the engineering, so they're very much aware of the
Right.
issue?
Yeah.
Absolutely, yes. Yes, we're really, part of the process is always, as we're working on the side, of wanting to put something in, they're the ones that have been for a good number of years monitoring what is happening now. So that dialogue has taken place. I can't tell you exactly how many meetings, but I know it's been more than a few to have phone, Teams calls, everything else to get to that point so that there was a clear understanding of both the capacity of the system and then this distribution, how it will best serve. And it's also, as Teresa said, like what will happen, in the first leg of this and what could happen after the fact, that one will not prevent the other from happening. So it's just a matter of doing what's right at the first new improvement to be made to that.
So we later on will be able to determine whether or not the citizens in the town can benefit from what you're doing.
Right.
So when we come back to the planning board, we'll have all of those things answered and addressed as to, and I don't know who will be reviewing our plans for the town, if it will also be Delaware Engineering, but I think that was one thing that might have come up, I'm not sure. But they will stay involved with the system because they are the system, the engineer for the village of Coxsackie. So we will rely on their knowledge. When we do our calculations, as I said, as we design it further, it will still have to stay in line with all of the capacity analysis that have been done today.
So, when you talk about, other facilities tying in, are you planning, what percent of the capacity that you're talking about would be available for expansion to other, buildings or?
So I know that the capacity that was talked about now is. Go ahead. Yep.
There's two issues with capacity. One is capacity in the pipe, for the future, and the other is capacity in the wastewater treatment plant. So what we can speak to and control to a limited degree is capacity in the pipe and making sure there's room in the pipe. What we can't speak to, because we don't control it, is capacity in the village of Coxsackie wastewater treatment plant. So that remains with them, and they have to decide what capacity they have in conjunction with DEC going forward.
Yeah, I was also wondering about, the water, the size of the water.
Oh, the water, I think, is a much easier issue. I think
But-
there's substantial capacity in the water system based on what we've heard from the village of Coxsackie water system.
Coxsackie, yes, but the
Yeah.
water that they can provide, I'm talking about the pipe that you're
pipe,
talking
the
about
size
that
of the
other
pipe.
people can tie into, so the capacity, the size of the pipe,
We typically oversize the pipe.
that's what I'm
Yeah.
wondering, yeah. Do you have a sense of
Yeah,
what
that-
size
I-
we're
I-
talking about at this point?
No,
I can't speak engineering.
Again, we're getting into the design because the pipe sizing is relative to the pressure that's there and what has to be done. So all of that will be worked on continuously as we move forward, being worked on right now. So the size of that will certainly be, it's inherent in knowing that we're looking at an extension like this, that it's not, and it is a town, you know, extension. It's a district extension. You have the district, and these are things. We know that we have to look at what are the likely future connections to that. So again, it's sort of like we were talking about the traffic. If there's something that needs to be, you know, upsized, that like going from, you know, an 8 to a 12 to a 6, like the pipe obviously does cost more, but the actual putting the pipe in, that's the larger part of the construction. So when it needs to go up in a size so that we can look for the future service of adjacent properties, one of the things that we have an understanding of which properties are the most likely that would, and what their capacity of their development might be in terms of water usage on those. So it is something that we can build into the design to make sure that we're protecting that interest.
So right now, you're talking like 3 to 4 million, and that's that range that you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah, definitely, because it doesn't make any sense, and I'm not a smart engineer, but if we could get away with 4-inch for our use, it doesn't make any sense for us to go put 4-inch pipe, that whole 3-mile stretch. So maybe the engineers that have the facilities tell us, hey, for future use, you need 8-inch pipe. Okay, great.
I
We
think
put in
8
8-inch
inches,
pipe.
minimum
Yeah.
at this point anyway.
And then the town supplies 1/3 of the cost.
Roughly. Wait, the town supplies 1/3 of the
No,
cost?
that's the pilot.
No, that was.
I mean, if you want to, or you're offering.
That was the last conversation.
Don't look to us for money.
That's the last conversation that was had with the county and with Loves was that the county would undertake some kind of a bond, but they were looking for money from the town to
You're,
cover their portion of the cost.
I think you're a few meetings back, though. We've had some other meetings since then that representatives from the town didn't show up.
Yeah, probably because they're in the middle of the day.
Right, right.
Well,
Well, let me
that would be
just,
great to hear more about, yeah.
yeah, the IDAs have certain things that they can do under New York State law. And one of the things that they can do is the pilot. There was some initial discussion of some infrastructure funding that the town might have through a grant that was.
Champlain Hudson
Yeah.
Power
Right,
Express.
yeah.
Right, but apparently that is not something that we can in fact qualify for. So that's why we switched to the other way of dealing with it. And, you know, I apologize, we don't always have control over when these meetings happen either, you know? But that was one of the more recent discussions. So we're trying to work through all this stuff and there's like 50 pieces, right? So the hard part is keeping all the balls in the air. And that was the latest communication that we got from the IDA. So, and we can continue to revisit that, but we had to kind of go in a direction to get moving. And that's the direction we're currently going in.
Okay, they
That's a
haven't
better
sent
direction
us
for us.
anything
Yeah.
on that. We haven't heard any of that.
And we're in the process of putting together the application. So we need to submit the application to them and then they'll review it. And then, and of course, the town and probably the village, I would imagine, will get notice of all that from the IDA so that you guys can comment or participate. And we'll make sure that everybody's involved. Once the application is submitted, it's a very, sort of a rote process. The IDA reviews it.
Oh, yeah,
They
no,
do
I
us-
understand that. I'm just,
Okay.
we were kind of stuck on what the last conversation was. And
Yeah.
so that goes back to next question about, is there a host agreement or is there a pilot?
At
Because-
this point, it's a pilot.
And the biggest reason behind that is because the last time I was in a meeting, the conversation was that the county wanted $100,000 a year for like 20 years from the town of New Baltimore and a pilot. So it looks like something has changed in the meantime, which would be,
Yeah,
because we don't get sales tax. We see
Right.
no sales
that
tax.
goes just to the county.
Correct.
Yeah,
And it
yeah.
never comes back here.
Yeah, and I think that the decision that was made was that there's this approach, which is more typical and easy, and we'll do it that way. And if you wanna call me, I will hook you up with, or Michelle, I can hook you up with, our firm's IDA expert. His name is Bob McLaughlin, and he can probably do a better job of describing to you, why they took that direction. But that's the direction we're currently going in. And to the best of my knowledge, they're not seeking any contribution from the town of Humboldt.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, are there any like meeting minutes or anything like that that could be shared with us?
Of the telephone calls?
I
No,
didn't know
not
if you
really.
had in
Yeah.
any,
But
share.
it will all be public. It's just that we had to have discussions to a point where we knew what we were applying for, because it was kind of all over the place.
Yeah, I knew that the credits were a big thing and there was some holdup with the sewer credits especially.
Yeah, that's been resolved.
Okay.
That's been resolved, and I'll be happy, Michelle, to send you a copy of the IDA's resolution.
Yeah, please.
I'd
on
be
that.
curious to see what that looks like, yeah.
Sure.
And can you give us contact for Bob McLaughlin? Because I think it would be great to talk to him.
Sure,
Okay.
absolutely. If you call me, I'll set it up. That's no problem. And, I'll give you my cell phone number when we're not recording. Thank you.
Oh, no, come on, don't you want to do that?
So,
I don't think you know, share it with them.
Yeah, that's all right.
15 minutes of fame, you're gonna miss it.
you didn't say at the beginning, what is your time frame for this project? Are you gonna be finished 5 years from now, 4 years from now?
No. I mean, we're, hopefully within the next year, we'll be breaking ground. That's all gonna be dependent on the other agencies and everybody,
Right.
all this coming together, but
Right.
we know that it's gonna be another probably 6 to 9 months for sure of going through this process. And
Mhm.
Okay. And you're aware that the town of Cooksaki is going to be experiencing an enormous expansion. They have like 160 acres that they're gonna be putting mobile homes on
Yes,
soon.
yes.
And all those people are gonna want water and sewer too.
Right.
That project is part of what's being evaluated for the capacity in the wastewater treatment plant.
Okay.
That's why we needed to get our capacity from capacity that had already been historically allocated to the IDA. That was our only source of getting that capacity.
Okay.
Michelle, I'll say this, I can't talk engineering and I can't talk legal stuff like Teresa. I'm just a dumb hick from Oklahoma, but I can tell you this.
I seriously doubt that.
Well, we don't operate in a bubble. When we look at this, it's not just Loves. We look at it as a community and as a whole. So things like the water line, things like the oncoming stuff, even when our stuff is evaluated, Delaware Engineering, they know Cooksacky's having this growth. They know they have this allocation they have to adhere to. We may not have known that up front. We did, but we may not have known something like that up front. But that doesn't matter because there's entities in place locally that protect the local interest. Delaware Engineering being that one for the sewer stuff. Water stuff, if there's something, and I'm not quite sure what the, was it Sailor Park?
Scheller Park.
Park.
I didn't understand if they needed water or it was going to impact their current water. I didn't understand what the questions were there. But if that's something that,
They had a water emergency during the pandemic. The pipeline under the thruway collapsed.
so there wasn't any redundancy
And so they're paying
And then they have
an enormous
an
amount of money.
extension now
Okay,
too,
and that's
because the other
something-
was also 100 years
frankly,
old.
we can look at doing something redundant like that, because like I said, if we're coming in and doing work anyway, as Frank mentioned, the pipe, yeah, it costs more, but the main cost we have is in construction. So if we're gonna do a little bit of work there and it can help the community as a whole, that's how we look at things. That's the great thing about being a private company versus being a public company. We're still family owned. We started 67 years ago now. The 3 of the 4 children of the founders still run the company. Now we have grandchildren working in the company as well that's coming up, that's worked in other businesses and other industries. So, we're very community oriented, very family oriented. That's why you'll see a lot of employees, and like me, I've been at Love's for over 14 years now. You'll see a lot of employees like me that's been around forever because of that. And I can sit in a room like this in a public setting and I can tell you, if I tell you we're going to expand the water line, you're not going to see anything different. We're going to expand the water line. And I know that they'll support me on that. So that's just the way we operate. So, yeah, so we don't
Just so
operate just in a
long as
bubble.
you guys understand that this, I know we're a rural community, I know we're a small community. You know, we don't get sales tax. If we're looking at a pilot, we need to get something,
Right.
and water is the thing.
Yeah.
Sewer is fantastic, but water is the thing. We're all humans, we need it.
Right.
And whether it's the planning board, Rob's sitting here, or whether it's the town board, like, it's our jobs to make sure that we're all working in the best interest of the people that live here in New Baltimore and have lived here for hundreds of years.
Understood.
So I just need you guys to understand
Yeah,
that that's always gonna be on our minds.
Oh, I respect that. I live in a small town myself, so I get it. I live in a small town between the two largest cities in Oklahoma. So we get, we're kind of play backseat to them as well. So I get where you're coming from. Frank, if there's, Frank will work with Delaware. If there's things we can do where we're doing the line, if we can put some T's in the line and cap it off, do
Yeah,
some extra
Jake-
fire
Jake-
hydrants. I mean, it's,
Jake was working on it.
yeah, all that stuff is in play.
As I
And they
said,
know
he
that.
couldn't be here tonight, but he can be at the next meeting, I'm sure, to answer your more specific questions. But he did talk to me about that one and said, you know, this is one, this is the other.
Right.
They were continuing to work with Delaware and Coxsackie to say, well, what are the benefits of each? Will we be able to get the service here, get some redundancy? And whether or not that loop had to be looked at further, that's the stage we're at.
Okay.
You know, to make sure what's happening with each one of these plans from a specific pressure standpoint, size of the pipes, everything. And as that evolves, that's when the next discussion comes. Very often, sometimes it comes out with something that with actually has more benefit without the extra cost. It's not, I shouldn't say very often, but occasionally that does, because people are looking for it, and we've heard that from you, and we can go back to the board and say, or to the drawing board and say, how can this happen to serve both? And then dialogue with Delaware and Coxsackie about that.
Okay.
We really appreciate the amount of time that you gave us here tonight. I know this is your regular town board meeting and that you have lots of other business to transact. So we will be back in front of the planning board and happy to answer any more questions that this lady will have, I'm sure. And
I always get the bottom.
you know,
Are there any other questions before we wrap up?
No, I think it would be helpful to stay a little bit closer in touch, I think, and, you know, any of these meetings that you're having, you know, we can try to accommodate getting there and being there.
Thank you. And that's exactly why we wanted to have this meeting,
Yeah.
that we finally got to a point where we had some answers, just not.
And it helps so much.
Can I ask a
Thank you.
question? Is anyone on the board a specific liaison to the planning board that we should,
Here's the planning board head.
well, I didn't know if anyone on
You've
the
been in
town
touch
board sat in on meetings or anything. We'd make a specific, reach out on those cases as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Everything was happening here.
Yes, yes.
We've gotten, thanks to Teresa, we've been moving along.
Yeah, we have, that was a few big hurdles.
Is it the 17th or 14th?
Thank you for showing up.
Okay, thank you.
We hope to be back in
It's
front of
just
the
too
planning
bad
board
that
in
my only
September.
experience.
September?
Yeah.
Fort Sill.
He'd probably know more about that.
There's two of us here.
Okay.
But it was a pleasure getting a lot of information,
Yeah.
believe me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're gonna have your hands full, kid. I know. What the hell? Somebody does it. See this? See this?
Okay, let's move on. Go right to the public comment period. Bill McDonald.
Sounded.
Good evening, I'm Bill McDonald from 20 28 Valley View Drive here in West Kentucky. I would like to address the board this evening in regards to previous times that I've been here with public comments, and I've made a request in writing as well regarding the personnel records that have been, in my view, misappropriated. And I had made a request, both in writing and verbally in the past, to have this issue put in front of the town's, what's the word I'm looking for? Ethics board. And to date, I've not received any response at all from the town board. And I would like to know what, if any, position the town board is taking on this. Seeing that there's no response, I'm assuming that the town board is not taking any position on this.
So our normal lawyer is not here.
All right, I'm not asking the lawyer, I'm asking the town
No, I
board.
understand. I'm trying to provide some context. We got your request and we did take it very seriously. You're not being ignored. We've been doing some historical research into the existence of an ethics board. Truly, and we found, I didn't spearhead this, and I was absent last time, so I apologize for some gaps in my knowledge. But there was a resolution from the previous administration to create an ethics board, and as far as we could determine, while that resolution passed, it was never created. So,
That's not true.
As I recall, it was when Susan O'Rourke was in
I did it in
office.
2016.
I know that they passed one, and instead of having an ethics board here, they were referring everything to the Attorney General's office. And then when your administration took over, you did have the ethics board.
2016, it was
Right.
established.
But then when looking through the files, we only saw things, I think, through 2018, so we don't know if the board still exists, who the membership is, and the paperwork that
Well,
we
it only
found.
meets when there's a problem.
What's that?
Sometimes they don't meet for 10 years.
Yeah, we don't even know who the members are.
Pat
you ask me?
Linger was the chair.
Do you know who they are?
Yeah, I know they are.
Okay, because I know some of them have moved out of town. Well, on the initial list, there was,
Wasn't Deb Richards on?
Deb
the-
Richards was
She
on.
was not, she was a,
She was not on it.
standby.
Okay. She doesn't live here anymore.
Yeah, she's just a standby.
So we
I
do
can
have
get
an
that.
ethics board and we do have people who are on it.
Get that out tomorrow.
Thank you. It's
Um,
been very confusing
Yes.
for us as well.
Nick, who was
When-
on the ethics board, if you can say, who was on the ethics board?
I'm sorry,
Who was on it besides yourself?
wasn't me, it was Pat Linger,
Nope, hold on.
Ted Gosher, it's in the file.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen the paperwork on it.
He was an attorney from Sleepy Road, I can't think of his name.
We were under the impression that we'd have to go through Green County's ethics board.
That's
Oh,
why
that's
it was
right, Green
created, because
County,
Green
that's what I
County
thought.
didn't
Not Attorney General, Green County Ethics Board.
With all due respect, it's been multiple months, and I do not think it would be unreasonable to have received at least some official notification from the town that they were even looking into something. The first time I brought it up, I was told that the board couldn't even have a comment. I think I should, by now, I should at least get some sort of recognition in writing from the board of where they're at, what their plans are, and where they would like to take it. Is there, what kind of time frame? I would like to find out tonight before I leave. What kind of time frame can I expect to hear a response from the board?
I just have to jump in. My name's Nora Murphy and I'm here, I am practice law with Michelle Storm. And the parameters of a public comment period are set, and the board is, while you are absolutely have your right to speak and make your questions, that it's not an appropriate time for the board to answer those questions, but you've made your request and the board can take that under consideration. But in terms of asking the board questions, that's not something that is appropriate for a public comment period. But as I said, you're more than welcome to say what you need.
If I do not hear, then my comment to the board is, and to the public that's watching, if I don't hear within 2 weeks, I'm taking additional action. As I would be advised legal that I can take. So I'm putting the board on notice. I'm requesting a reasonable response. I believe I've already given a reasonable amount of time. At this point, I will allow another 2 weeks. If I don't hear anything, I'm moving forward. So, and with that, I appreciate your time.
Thank you, sir. Let's move on to old business. The only thing that I wanted to mention was that yesterday afternoon, we posted the veterans picnic. It was inside at the firehouse because the weather was a little warm yesterday with humidity, but it was a great turnout. They were very appreciative. The food was excellent. And it was really nice to see all these people and their families come. Ellie, did you want to give any feedback?
No, the only thing I'm sorry that I forgot to mention at the lunch, I would have invited all the veterans that we have in our town or thereabouts to see the monument that was put in here, to honor them and see that they are not maybe by name, but by organization, to be a good part of this town.
We had about 48.
Mhm. I think it really picked up, Barbara, after a fashion.
Yeah.
After what?
After a fashion.
I think we put out, we had some gentlemen come from Greene County who have a lot of resources for veterans that a lot of veterans don't know about.
Yeah.
And they gave me some of their flyers, which I put out and for people to take because and give to everybody. We also spoke to them about them giving us their information whenever they have events or other references to, things that are helpful to veterans, and we would post them on our website as well as our Facebook site. And then we spoke to them about, because there have been some discussion about veterans who are so homebound that they can't even come out, and we can't even identify who they are. And there's a lot of privacy issues related to that, but so this gentleman has a means of getting communication, and I said, rather than us trying to ask them, and which would be an invasion of their privacy, if they could be told, if you would like to speak to somebody at the town or whatever, or have be part of some of the town work, that they would give a contact to them, and then they could choose to reach out to us. So it's completely honors their respect. So I think it was really very good. I don't know if I'm going to say anything about what happened with the other thing, but maybe I will. I think I will. There was something I wanted to bring up yesterday, but folks kind of recommended to me that it wasn't the right time or place. And I want to bring it up because I think it's an insult to the veterans who fought for things in our country, in our, the people's rights, the people, everyone being equal, created equal, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness and all of that. And I just will generalize that there was an incident in the town, a hate incident that occurred over the weekend. And we spoke to state police about it. We spoke to Pat Linger. I'm writing to the sheriff as well. And it's an insult to those people who fought and maybe even had colleagues die. And it's not our town. Our town's better than that. And so we're going to just try to make sure that that doesn't happen anymore. Obviously, that's a dream, but we're going to try to follow up on this piece of what happened.
Then what did happen?
I'd rather not go
Oh, you
into the
can't
say.
details,
Right.
but just wanted to mention that. Thank you.
Could I say something?
Sure, please.
Really put in a plug about the monument out there.
Yeah,
That didn't exist 10 years ago.
Right.
Previous administration had that put in.
great.
I want to put a
Yes,
plug
I
in
think
for
I
New
know.
York quarries. They donated the stone.
Great.
Mike Taylor
Did the work.
did the work, which was a lot of money.
Uh-huh.
Thanks.
And
And it came out beautiful.
and my wife volunteered her crew, me, to put it in. The total cost for that monument was 6 yards of concrete to the town. That's all it cost, that monument, the town.
And that's the kind of town we want to always be.
Right,
Yes.
And
exactly.
it's quite a monument, I think.
I
Exactly.
do too.
And that's why I said it didn't honor the veterans who fought for what our country means, to have this kind of a hate thing. So, but thanks for that info,
The local
Robbie.
businesses
And we should do,
Stepped up and did that.
and I think we want to keep just doing more and more for not only veterans, but our seniors, because, I mean, that's what we really wanted to do.
And I think Shelley was the one that started the veterans.
You're right.
Yes, she is.
Yeah, so we just wanna,
You spent a lot of time on the phone, you know that.
yeah. And I mean, it's for all of us to keep pushing that, what matters to us about these kinds of things and stand up for it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, old business. The highway department put in a bid on a tractor, and they did not win the bid. Danny, you want to do this resolution for the repairs for the tractor? Thank you.
Resolution 110, 2026. Resolution to authorize the town highway superintendent to contract for repairs to the town's 1990 Case International roadside mowing tractor. Whereas Resolution 107, 2026 authorized Highway Superintendent Alan Van Wormer to bid up to $10,000 on a roadside mowing tractor available on Auction International to replace the town's failed 1990 Case International roadside mowing tractor purchased in 2014, since the highway department crew was unable to repair the tractor. Whereas the town was outbid in the auction. Whereas the cost of a new tractor would be approximately $100,000, and renting a tractor for 1 month would cost $8,200 per month. Whereas Salem Farm Supply, the sole source dealer and repairs for Case International equipment in our area, gave the highway superintendent a quote of $5,000 to separate the tractor from the mower and install a new clutch in the tractor. And whereas the highway department will remove the mower from the tractor prior to bringing it to Salem Farm Supply in order to lower the cost of the quote further to approximately $4,000. And now, therefore, be it resolved, the town board authorizes the highway superintendent to engage Salem Farm Supply to repair the aforementioned roadside mower.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, I make a motion that we,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Okay, so this next one is transferring funds for the 250. Jenny, you want to read this one?
As soon as I find it. Resolution 111, 2026, August 10th, 2026. Resolution for the town board to transfer funds received from Greene County as part of the county's support for our nation's 250th anniversary year from the general fund to the appropriate accounts. Whereas the Office of Greene County Administrator Sean Groden provided $2,500 to towns in the county for the purpose of holding events throughout the year to celebrate the 250th anniversary of our nation. Whereas the town of New Baltimore received $2,500 for that purpose per Resolution 49, 2026. Whereas the town appropriately deposited those funds in the general fund. Whereas a 250th celebration theme is being carried through to the town's annual Veterans and Seniors events. Now therefore be it resolved that the $2,500 in monies from Greene County intended to be used for 250th celebration expenses shall be redistributed transfers as follows. $1,000 shall be transferred from the general fund to the town's cultural events fund to cover expenses approved by resolution.
Sorry, it's 49, 2026.
49?
Yeah,
Okay.
I didn't finish that.
49, 2026. And $750 shall be transferred from the general fund to the town's Veterans Services account, A6510.4. And $750 shall be transferred from the general fund to the town's Programs for the Aging account, A6772.4. And that's
Is
it.
there any discussion?
No.
Okay, I make a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Okay, new business. This is Resolution 112-2026. Resolution to accept the resignation of Building, Planning, and Zoning Clerk April Crine. Whereas April Crine submitted a letter of resignation from her position as the Town of New Baltimore's BPZ clerk and indicating that her last workday for the town will be August 20th, 2026. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the Town of New Baltimore accepts the resignation of April Crine. Any discussion?
Very sadly.
Yeah.
Very sadly.
a loss.
She's a loss.
Big loss.
Yeah, it is.
You know, maybe this is not the right time for this discussion, but the town is short several employees. And maybe we should start looking into why it is that we're losing employees and what can be done to retain employees that we're now losing.
Okay, any other discussion? Okay, I make a motion that we accept her resignation.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Can I just ask who seconded that?
I did.
So carried. Okay. Jenny, want to do this one? No?
Sorry, what?
No, I asked Janet if she would do the next one.
Sure.
You have it?
Resolution 113-2026, August 10th, 2026. Resolution to reimburse Grace Morrell for items created for the annual Veterans and Seniors picnics that honor the 250th anniversary of our nation. Whereas the Town of New Baltimore approved the supportive activities throughout the year that honor the 250th anniversary of our nation with Resolution 49-2026. Whereas a sole source artisan, Grace Morrell, designed and produced a total of 150 coasters with the theme honoring and celebrating the 250th at a cost of $1,350, And whereas that cost will be covered by the funds provided by the Office of Greene County Administrator Sean Groden, now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of New Baltimore approves the reimbursement amount of $1,350 to Sole Source Artisan Grace Morrell.
Okay, is there any discussion? Okay, I make a motion that we pay Grace Morrell.
I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
If I get a question about this, are they somewhere where somebody can come and look at them, or?
Yeah, actually, we can leave some here if,
Great.
yeah, you saw them yesterday.
No, I didn't.
They were on the
They were
table.
on
They were.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'll bring some in.
You were too busy.
Just talking too much.
I got a question. Didn't we just allocate the $2,500 given to the town by the county? So you had $2,500 given to the
Correct.
county for 4th of July celebrations, correct?
250, yeah.
Were you,
For all year.
where you're not using that money and you gave $750 to this one and $1,000 to this one and $750 to the veterans?
So we had to write to the county and tell them what kinds of things we were going to plan to do with that.
But, so where's the $1,300 coming from? The general fund? It's not coming out of, because there's not enough money left in that $2,500 fund that was supposed to be for 4th of July.
No, it was allocated to these separate funds to give extra money in those funds so that those veterans account and the cultural events account and the seniors account would have it.
No, I'm talking about the 4th of July.
It wasn't only for the 4th of July, the $2,500, it was for all year long celebration of the
Oh, I thought,
250th,
that wasn't explained that way, the meeting, couple
Yeah.
meetings before, it was
what it is.
when you approved one for the Shoney's,
Yeah. Well,
Shoney,
that was for their event, it was the 4th of July, that event, yeah.
yeah, that the
for all
town was
year long.
giving
In
the
fact, I
towns
think
$2,500 for those events.
I think Queens is having more and Cooksaki's having more too, so.
Thank you.
Do you know how many people attended, Joyce?
I would say about
30.
35.
Okay. You want to do the resolution for the shipping policy?
Okay, resolution 114-2026, resolution to update the town procurement policy. Whereas the increase of the monetary threshold for purchase contracts under New York State General Municipal Law from 10,000 to 20,000 took effect on June 22nd, 2010, when Chapter 56 of the laws of 2010 became law. And whereas the town procurement policy has, to date, still cites the GML as reference for using the aforementioned $10,000 limit, now therefore be it resolved that the town board approves the updating correction of the town of New Baltimore procurement policy to state the monetary threshold for purchase contracts that are subject to competitive bidding to be $20,000. And be it further resolved that the increase in the monetary threshold necessitates an additional category of 10,000 to 20,000, and an adjustment to the required number of quotes or bids be added to the requirements for competitive bidding as follows. For a cost of $2,500 to $10,000, a written RFP, written fax mail quotes from at least 2 vendors, and the new category from 10,000 to 20,000, a written RFP and written fax email quotes from at least 3 vendors. Any discussion? I'll make a motion.
I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Are you going to do the upcoming meetings? Due date.
Upcoming meetings. There's a planning board meeting August 13th, 2026 at 7 p.m. in the New Baltimore Town Hall. There's the town board work meeting August 24th, 2026 at 7 p.m. here at New Baltimore Town Hall. there's a comprehensive planning and zoning for, code, special committee meeting on August 25th, 2026 at 6:30 PM at the Cornell Hook and Ladder Firehouse, Hill Road, New Baltimore, New York, zip code 12124. There's a zoning board of appeals meeting September 2nd, 2026 at 7 PM to Baltimore Town Hall. There's an annual 2026 seniors picnic, Wednesday, September 9th, from 1 to 3 at White Park. The ring location is the Medway Greatville Firehouse this time. There's a planning board meeting September 10th, 2026 at 7 PM, New Baltimore Town Hall. Town board regular meeting September 14th, 2026 at 7 PM, New Baltimore Town Hall. There's town board work meeting September 24th, 2026 at 7 PM, New Baltimore Town Hall.
I had the yard sale Saturday, September 19th.
That's right. You mentioned that last time.
Could you come to my house with a dump truck?
I had somebody today ask if they could do it on Sunday. Sure. What if it rains? It's up to you.
Barbara, is that art sale an all-day event?
As long, whatever time limit they want. The maps are available at 8 and they can start whenever they wish.
Okay. So your art sale.
When is the, I know I keep asking this question, I'm sorry. When is the public hearing, presentation about the Hannah Croy solar pilot thing
Alan had the
at
date, but
It's
the
a-
last meeting.
Cornell Hook and Ladder?
Yeah. I'm sure I've got it in my
Clarify a little more
voluminous
for us,
notes
please,
somewhere.
I can't, that's all, I can't remember when it is. I keep forgetting when this thing is gonna happen.
Well, I would think it would be in the minutes. Do you remember putting that in the minutes, Barb? I know that Alan gave the date.
Well, she had it, she
Yeah.
put it.
Oh, we'll ask him.
It's been a long day.
Okay,
Okay, notice of claims.
you got it. Resolution 115-2026, resolution to authorize supervisor to pay the audited claims. Whereas the town clerk has presented claims to the town board for audit and review, and whereas the town board has audited claims 2026-08-01 to 2026-08-27, now therefore be it resolved that the supervisor is hereby authorized to pay claims 2026-08-01 to 2026-08-27, and be it further resolved that the town clerk will prepare an abstract and hold it for public review until September 30th, 2026. And make a motion?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
General, $8,169.70. Highway, $4,512.22. Sewer one, $2,551.13. Sewer two, $850. Street lighting one, $2,018.33. Street lighting two, $270.85. Ambulance one, $38,000. Total $56,419.43.
Thank you, Barb. Okay, next would be the motion to adjourn. I have the motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
I would like to stay here all night.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
Thank you, Denise.
I only started talking at the end.